What I discovered about myself this past year was that I was a purist. Someone I was talking to stopped me in mid-sentence and said, "You know you're a purist." She said, "Listen to what you're saying. Separate our people so that they can heal themselves." She said that to me as if it was a bad thing what I was saying, and that it was a bad thing for her to call me a purist and was cussing me out or something. So I wear that label because I'm a firm believer that our people must voluntarily separate themselves or segregate themselves from others in order to heal from all the trauma we've eternalized the last 400 years since being exposed to the European. Now, before anybody even go there, no, this is not racist. No, this is not about being hateful. No, this is not about harming anyone. You see, whenever Aboriginal people make efforts to heal themselves, those types of accusations are levied against them. There's this notion that everybody can and should interject themselves into our healing process, which is why the previous generations, they didn't heal themselves. Get this. This type of thing don't happen to any other groups of people, just us. Now, I want you to marinate on that. No other group is faced with this but us. They do this as a means of keeping tabs on our efforts because our dysfunction is other people's wealth. How do I know this? Well, look back at the 70s and all those social programs our people set up for themselves, to lift themselves. What eventually happened to them? Do you know? Well, I tell you. The people organizing them were either killed or went to prison for life. Oh, there were some people who supposedly went to jail, and when they came out, became Ivy League professors. Yeah, professors. Now, one could theorize that maybe those people who became professors were the monkey wrenches needed to disable those organizations wanting to lift our people up. Now, I'm just saying that's a theory. But you find you have some extra time on your hands, it'll be a good thing to go and read up on what happened with all those different groups that existed in the 70s. Because you might find yourself theorizing along those lines too. Yeah. I know many of our people feel we should let the past be the past and unite with everybody. Well, we've been attempting or trying to assimilate for the last 50 odd years. And I ask those people who believe this way, how have our people fared in the last 50 years with that mentality? We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. Stop it. We've been in this mess too long to keep that silliness going. Now, if you're honest with yourself, the answer would be we have not fared well. Actually, we became more destitute mentally, socially, and financially. I refuse to wear rose-colored glasses to prevent me from seeing all of this was by design. Believe it or not, there are conscious brothers and sisters who believe we should get over ourselves. Get over ourselves. Isn't that what foreigners say to us when we demand to be treated equally? When we demand a leveled playing field? Don't they say that? Don't they say that when we want to talk about the past? They tell us to get over it. I make a point, in all honesty, to exclude brothers and sisters who think this way. Because these people are our downfall. Whether they are aware of it or not, a stagnant people remain food for fodder. Therefore, they won't ever regain control over themselves nor their lands. The thought of the children born in my own family having a future of being someone's stepping stone is more than I can bear. In all honesty, I cannot even think about them having to endure what my generation and the generations before us had to endure. If your mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, aunt, cousin, or just an indigenous man or woman that desire to see a day when our people are of sane mind and body, you must prepare the youngsters for a tomorrow where they can be their real selves. Our people can't lift themselves if they can't heal in peace. Another aspect to being a purist is if you didn't come out of an indigenous woman's womb, it don't matter if the woman who was given a tribal affiliation because her ancestors paid $5 to be listed as natives. She don't count. I'm not speaking of that woman. I speak of the women that was reclassified as Negroes. I am speaking of those women that descend from Negroes. If that's not your people, you're not mine. Here we go again. But there are some so-called conscious brothers and sisters who happily welcome foreigners calling themselves Native Americans as their brothers and sisters. There's this fallacy. They are entitled to the inheritance, which is this land and its resources. They are not. Don't get me wrong. There's still some real indigenous on those reservations, but they are in the minority. Who's really on those reservations are Asians and Europeans. No, we are not talking about ancient Asians and Europeans. No. That supposedly had crossed that imaginary land bridge called the Bering Strait. No. These people are recent immigrants from the 1500s to the 1800s. A little side note here on the Bering Strait. That's a theory that was made up to give those people on the reservations a history here. It's not based in any facts. It's just a theory that was put together to give them some kind of justification for being here. It just reminds me of the out of Africa theory that people keep blurting out like it's some kind of historical fact, like there's some genuine evidence to support it, which there isn't. So, if I offended anyone, please accept my apologies, but the line must be drawn in the sand so that the next generation of my people won't be cursed. Because the previous generation were cursed. The previous generations before us were cursed. What do you call it when strangers can come and tell a whole population of people who they are? Because those people lack knowledge of self. What do you call people who don't know they're at home? What do you call the people who don't do for themselves but rely on strangers for their very survival. What is a people when they hear a tribal name? They think of a foreigner instead of themselves. Oh, I can go on and on with this line of thought, because there's no getting around the fact that things that has happened to our people is due to them being cursed by their own foolishness. Foolishness started 400 odd years ago, when our people allowed folks not of their bloodline to live amongst them, to try to work with these people. It wasn't like our people did not know the nature of the folks that they was dealing with, but our compassion was used against us. The madness must stop. That means we must, good golly, we must break the cycle. How do we break the cycle? Learn from the past. Every group of people study their past. And guess what? They study your past too. Why? So everybody can take turns playing the same game that was played on our ancestors on us today. They don't bother learning a new game because we don't bother to know the truth about ourselves. We just accept the quote-unquote truth given by those who feed off us. I had a gentleman, he was a 30-something, I guess he was around maybe 35 or whatever. And I was making this statement to him, and he looked confused. Especially when I said, feed off us. He shook his head in disbelief, talking about, what do you mean, feed off us? When we stopped being self-sufficient and had to rely on someone else to provide us with our necessities, it allowed others to become wealthy off of us. The newspaper, The Last Call, it printed an article that said, if Black America was an independent nation, it would be the 11th richest. Did you hear what I said? We would be number 11 as the richest nation. Do you know, by some people's estimates, we collectively, and when I say we, I'm talking about the American indigenous, spend $1 trillion annually. Logically speaking, okay, people spending that much money shouldn't be at the bottom in this society. But yet we are. Now, if that's not feeding off of us, I don't know what is. It's time a purist train of thought prevailed, because the time has arrived for us to do better for the sake of all those babies we claim we love and we protect. Protect them by exercising that madness that say we need to get approval from other people to be ourselves. Exercise that madness that say we're all the same, because by other people's treatment of us, we're clearly not the same. Stop telling the children we are the same when scientists spend billions of dollars annually studying our DNA. There is something truly divine about us, and we need to instill that in the young. No, I'm not saying anyone is less than us, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm just addressing the obvious concerning my people and how other people react to us. Like I said, it's time we separated ourselves to heal all the damage for the sake of the next generation. We must. Political correctness that says that what I'm saying is a hateful thing, is a negative thing. Political correctness was established, or should I say created, to prevent people from having independent thought to prevent people from questioning the status quo. That's what that's about. And that is why our people must become purists.